Hey there guys. So this week's video is going to be a bit more different to the ones that I normally do, and it's because I got a message from a parent of someone who has an eating disorder and also from someone who is just diagnosed with an eating disorder and they're just asking for a bit of guidance. And both of them saw the video I did last week on the topic of religion, and they asked me a simple question: do people grow out of eating disorders? And the answer is no, to put it bluntly. And the reason for this is because eating disorders are mental conditions. They are chronic and potentially lifelong things. I have been in both an adolescent and an adult eating disorder unit. And when I was in the adolescent unit, you get the misconception that only adolescents get this thing, because that's all you're subjected to. But then when I went to the adult unit, it completely changed the way I saw eating disorders. And this is because, yeah, there were people my age, about 20, 21, but then there were also people who were about 40, 45, and there was one who was about 50 years old. And these were people who had just been going in and out of eating disorder units most of their lives. And this was a massive wake-up call for me because, yeah, I thought that people would go on to suffer for quite some time, but I didn't think that it would get to the stage where they'd have to be going in and out of treatment. I thought that they could manage it while they're at home, but no, they can be as serious to cause you to have to go to treatment centres for a very long time. And I guess this is where the public misconception comes in because it affected me too, because I thought this. And I guess the media, they expose a lot of adolescents with eating disorders and they tend to focus on that, and they tend to neglect the adults who are suffering themselves. And yes, this is affecting the public, and I guess this opinion does really need to change. This is because it is affecting people, obviously, because I wouldn't have gotten these messages from people. And I mean, from the perspective of someone with an eating disorder, this can be potentially detrimental because if they think, oh, I'm just going to grow out of it, they might not put as much effort into recovery. And the same goes for the parent. If they think, oh, this is just a phase that my child is going through, so I don't need to focus as much time on this, this can really be detrimental because it can just wreak havoc and result in people having to go in and out of treatment centres for the rest of their lives. And it's so devastating to see. It really, really opened my eyes. So I guess the solution is to really think of eating disorders in the same light as other psychiatric illnesses. It's such a simple thing. But if you think of something like schizophrenia, you think, this is something that they're stuck for life, and they're going to have to be treated for it until their symptoms are managed. If you think of eating disorders in that same light, and think, yes, this can go on for a very long time and their symptoms can be managed, but there is the potential that it can get under control so long as the root anxiety is targeted, so long as they develop coping strategies. Really cannot think of these things as temporary. If you do, then the eating disorder will latch on to whatever it can, and it will change who you are, your behaviours, and ultimately the way that you look, and it can potentially kill you. The statistic is that 1 in 5 of people with an eating disorders will die as a result of it. And you really have to think of it in this way. The statistic is that 1 in 5 people with an eating disorder will die as a result of it. And this just goes to show how serious they are. Eating disorders have the highest mortality of any of the psychiatric illnesses. So what's the solution? Well, the number one thing is to try and spread the word, really. The word won't get out if no one speaks. And I hope that you guys try and share my videos to try and educate other people. I know that I'm not the pinnacle of any scientist or any doctor, but I am trying to be as open as possible to try and really make people aware of what eating disorders can do if you let them continue. Can't rely on the media to do these things because you've got to bear in mind that the majority of the people writing these articles themselves, they don't have an eating disorder, so they are taking the very simplistic view and they're just focusing on the things that they can sensationalize. They're not going to be interested in a 45-year-old person who's got an eating disorder. Not when there can be a 7-year-old with an eating disorder that they can focus on. And therein lies the problem. One of the things that you guys could potentially do for me is to send proposals to TV shows from whatever country you're from, and see if they'd be interested in having me come on the show, because I am trying to be as 100% transparent as possible, and I know that people with eating disorders really do struggle with that. If you do send messages to these TV broadcasters, whatever, just please let them know that I am willing to say whatever just to try and help as many people as possible. And I mean, that's really all it comes down to. That's the reason why I made this channel. That's the reason why I spend so much time messaging you guys. I do want what's best for you, and I want what's best for everyone who's suffering from eating disorders. Okay, so I mean, that was a very different video to what I normally say, but I think it is a very important video nonetheless, and I hope that it has made you aware of the severity of eating disorders. If you have any suggestions for things that you'd like to see, please do let me know, and I will try to get back to you as soon as possible. But for now, thanks for watching.